Well, polls open in just over 13 hours for Ohio's primary election. The presidential race may be set, but voters still have other big decisions to make. And election workers are getting ready for the big day. 10 TV political reporter Doug Petcash is live at the Franklin County Board of Elections for us tonight. Doug.
Well, hey, Yolanda, there was no early voting today, so anyone who showed up here to vote early was greeted by this sign outside the elections office saying voting early has ended and to go to their local precinct tomorrow. Meantime, inside the building here, workers are making the transition from early voting to election day.
In a blur, absentee ballots zip through this high-speed machine at the Franklin County Board of Elections office, about 400 per minute. The ballots are processed but won't be counted until 7:30 election night.
We tabulate it and then the results start to spit out.
The first results we'll get. Franklin County Board of Elections spokesman Aaron Sellers says strict steps are taken to ensure fairness, transparency, and ballot security. Electronic eyes keep watch from above and all around. Republican and Democratic eyes also observe every step of the process.
There's not one thing here that's not done in bipartisan teams. From start to finish, whether it's in the early vote cycle or whether it's in the collection of ballots in the ballot room.
But not as many ballots as usual are zipping through. Sellers says normally about 20% of voters cast absentee ballots. This year so far, it's only about 4%, and that's out of nearly 900,000 registered voters in Franklin County.
Well, I think that the top of the ticket, the presidential primaries, are the big driver, and obviously we know who's going to be competing in November.
But we don't know who will be competing in November for U.S. Senate on the Republican side. State Senator Matt Dolan, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and businessman Bernie Moreno are all vying to challenge Democratic incumbent Sherrod Brown. He's running unopposed in the primary. It could impact which party controls the Senate. University of Cincinnati political science professor David Niven told me on Face the State it's probably the #1 Senate race in the country.
And you're seeing numbers, both parties talking about hundreds of millions of dollars going into this race. $500 million is the potential total in a Senate race. I mean, this is going to be a saturation campaign on both sides.
Races for state legislature, judges, prosecutors, sheriffs, and levy and bond issues are also on ballots.
Just because the top of the ticket's been, is done, there's lots of things that are still out there, and we certainly encourage folks to come out and vote tomorrow.
And if you do have to vote tomorrow, you can do that at your local precinct from 6:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night when the polls close and the results start coming in. Live in Columbus, Doug Petcash, 10 TV News.
All right, thank you, Doug. Across the whole state, more than 213,000 Ohioans have already cast their ballots in person, and 162,000 have mailed in ballots, meaning almost 376,000 people have voted.